what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new video. So yet again, we are in the garage. We're going to do some installs tonight, something very minor, nothing too crazy. But again, it's just one of those things that I'm getting done in the garage. So I figured I would update you guys, keep you in the know about everything I'm doing with my car. As you guys know, I have 3 kids. I have a full-time job. So getting out here at nighttime is the only chance I get to really play with the car. During the day, I'm just, driving it to and from work. So it's nothing too exciting, but we're going to get a couple things done tonight. Now, on the last video, you guys saw me just install the new Cobb overflow coolant tank. Absolutely love this thing. It is so beautiful. I'm so happy we went ahead and got that. Cleans everything up here. It looks so much better. It gets rid of those ugly plastic clear white containers that always get dirty. And it's just such a nice piece, high quality. Love that I was able to use the Titanium Works hardware here. So one of the things that people were mentioning to me in that video was actually to fill up the tank a little bit more with some more coolant. So that was something that I actually planned on doing. I just didn't have a bottle of coolant on hand at the time. And the coolant that I poured in there, I just didn't feel comfortable. It wasn't enough. So I wanted to fill it with a little more. So I ran over to my local Subaru dealer and picked up a bottle of blue coolant. This is the coolant that I use in the car, which I suggest you use in your STI or WRX as well. It is a super coolant. It is the blue coolant. You do not need the green. The green is for 2009 and under. Everything else, you're going to be using this. So this is relatively cheap. The whole bottle was only 27 bucks. And I literally only need a couple ounces in the container because there's already a decent amount in there. But I just wanted to fill it up a little bit more just to, for peace of mind and get some fresh coolant in there. Obviously, RT Tuning did a full coolant flush when they did the coil radiator install. But I wanted to get some fresh, clean fluid in the new tank just in case. It would make me feel better. So plus, it's always good to have a bottle of that on hand. It's relatively cheap. So it's something good just to have in your garage just in case if you're doing something and you need a little bit extra. Also tonight, I got in some more titanium hardware. Now, first off, let me explain. Now, these are the larger hose clamps that I needed for the Cobb intake over here. So I'm going to be installing them on here, getting them knocked out. The last set I got, which you can see on the Grimspeed throttle body hose right there. I got a total of 4 in my last order, but the ones that I got for here were too small to fit around the intake elbow here. Since this is a little bit wider, I needed a bigger clamp. So I hit them up. I said, hey, that was my bad. I needed a little bit larger clamps. So we went ahead and sent over 2 larger clamps, which I'll be able to get that installed and knocked out. Also, how sick are these? This was a surprise. This was a gift from my man over at Titanium Works. You guys know I have placed a lot of orders with him, as you can see, around the engine bay, actually around the entire car. A lot of orders over the last few months, just getting all the bolts and everything done in this car. And I love how it turned out. And he was super kind enough to send me over axle nuts. So how badass is that? Look how giant this thing is. This is the biggest, this is going to sound terrible, but this is the biggest nut I've ever seen in my life.
These nuts. Got him.
Super badass. Looks absolutely beautiful. So as you guys know, on my Wet Sport TC105Xs, I do not run center caps on my wheels on the Wet Sports, mainly because I do not like the look of the center caps that are offered for these wheels. So I run the Project Kicks Gold Hub Ring just for a little pop of color. And I just run them open-ended. A lot of track guys run them without center caps. That's not necessarily the look I'm going for. I just prefer these wheels without center caps. But like I said, they sent over these beautiful Titanium Works axle nuts. So that is going to replace that giant nut right there. So it's going to look so good against that wheel. It's going to clean up this whole area and make that part of the wheel look so much nicer. As you guys can tell, it is not the prettiest looking thing. It gets a little ugly over the years, gets a little corroded and everything. Usually when I take the wheels off and I have some time, I use a steel brush and I kind of brush around there to get any rust off and any corrosion or anything. I have thought about just painting them to make them a little bit nicer, but I'll tell you what, these titanium axle nuts are a way better look. So that's going to look really good against the wheel, and it's going to make me that much happier not to run center caps. So I'm not going to be doing that install tonight, mainly because I have to take the wheels off, but I just wanted to show you them because these things are absolutely beautiful. And like I said, these are giant. Plus, I'm really curious to see how much lighter these things are compared to the stock ones. Probably not crazy amounts, but definitely a difference. I'll probably be able to tell when I take them off. Also, you see the etching on there. It says Titanium Works. This company has been amazing throughout this whole entire build. It's one of those companies that honestly, it's a pleasure to be able to use their product. They're so kind and everything. And, you know, I can't even tell you how many orders I've had to place to get all this done. And they've been amazing through the whole process, you know, super patient with me, because honestly, this is not just one kit that you see in the engine bay. It's literally a custom order. It's probably about 10 orders now. You know, taking things out, measuring them, sending over all the data and everything. And they were able to get me every single thing that I needed. So as you can see around the engine bay, absolutely beautiful. It really adds a whole other level of detail to the engine bay. Pretty crazy. I actually have them on the door sills over here, which you guys have probably seen. Here they are on the door sills. Really nice. Nice little touch of titanium that nobody can see but me when I open the door. And I also have them in the trunk area. Again, one of those things that you're not going to be able to see unless you open up the trunk, but I got them here. And as well as that little nut right there on the bumper. So there's also 2 little bolts on the interior as well for the access port mount vent up there. So you can kind of see them right there. I have one back there and one right there. Just a small touch of titanium on the interior along with the door sills down there. So it's not too much, it's not in your face, because I don't like doing things that really stand out too much. But you know, if you look hard enough, you'll be able to see all the details. So the first order of business tonight is going to fill up this tank just a little bit more. It's already probably about, I don't know, an eighth filled. I'm going to fill it up a little bit more just to get some fresh coolant in there and, you know, have a little bit extra, which is not going to hurt. So let me go ahead, get a funnel and get that knocked out. All right, guys, so we are finished up tonight. Like I said, there was nothing too much to do, but I got the clamps on. I'm all finished with everything in the engine bay for now. The only other piece in the engine bay that I'm curious to kind of chase and get some nice titanium hardware on is the vacuum line on the bypass valve. The other night, actually kind of hard to see, but I replaced the screws underneath. I had some laying around and they worked. So pretty much decked out the Cobb bypass valve with some Titanium Works hardware. So that is the only piece. I have to ask, I was meaning to ask last time, but I'm not sure if they make vacuum line hardware for, you know, bypass valves or blowout valves. But if they do, I would love to pick that up as well. There's actually one thing that I forgot that I am actually waiting on. That's the RK titanium radiator pipe right here. I'm actually waiting on the titanium clamps for right there, as well as, kind of hard to see, but down there as well. So there's 2 there and 2 there. They were waiting for the smaller clamps to come in. So once those do, I'll replace them. I'll update you guys with a small video. I don't think I'm gonna do a full video on that, but I'll update it and throw it in another video. So I guess that is the only thing else that I'm waiting for on the engine bay that is not complete. But otherwise, I think the engine bay is pretty much done. I've pretty much touched everything, well, everything at least that I want to touch. Obviously, there's bolts underneath and stuff that are just unseen that I probably, well, I know I'm not going to touch. So majority on top, everything in the engine bay that I really wanted to get done, you know, I accomplished. A lot of people have always asked me, you know, what kit did you get? How did you get everything? And it's not just one kit. I mentioned this in my last video. This is about 9 or 10 separate orders. And a lot of this stuff is not necessarily just available on the website. You have to actually reach out to them and, you know, let them know what you're looking for. Maybe down the line, Titanium Works and I can kind of work out something where you can get a Subi Freak package or something like that, where you're able to get, you know, all the hood stuff and, you know, all the engine bay and everything that I have in here. Obviously, I have some pieces that not everybody runs, but, you know, maybe do like a bulk package or something like that. But all in all, if people are curious about how much I actually spent on this, and I'm not really sure, but I think I know I'm over $1,000 for everything. I think it's around $1,500 for everything on the car. It might be a little bit more, a little bit less, around that area, I would say. So yeah, it is a lot of money just on bolts and everything. But as you guys can see, for me, it's the details that matter, and seeing all this, you know, kind of complete and exactly the way I envisioned it, just makes me really happy. And it's not about, you know, what you spent on it. It's just, you know, it makes me happy when I open the hood, and that's all that matters. So yeah, the axle nuts over here are going to be a separate video, since that's a little bit more in-depth install, since I need to jack up the car, remove the wheels and everything, torque everything down. As for what else is coming for the car next week, I have the TBW under tray coming in, the aluminum under tray. So I'm going to be doing an install on that. I ordered a carbon fiber hood scoop for the stock hood. That is going to be in tomorrow, I think. So there's going to be a video on that as well. And a couple other little things here and there that I'm working on that I think you guys will enjoy. But for now, that's kind of what's coming and what's coming up. But for now, it was just a little quick night in the garage, getting some things done that I wanted to get finished up. So I figured to make a video, get you guys caught up on what I'm doing in the garage. And yeah, just kind of spend the night with me in here and hanging out. So that is all I got for you guys. I'm really looking forward to getting those axle nuts on. A huge thank you to Titanium Works for sending those out to me. These things are absolutely beautiful, and it's going to look amazing on the car, especially with the Project Kick hub rings. It's really going to tie everything together. So that is it for this one, guys. If you have any questions at all, be sure to ask them below. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you in the next one.